Hey guys, it's Joshua Reviews. Sorry for that weird, obnoxious intro. Night of the Demons remake. Okay. Night of the Demons remake. I think this was the first one I didn't see the movie. I saw the cover for it. I know for a fact I saw this at my local video store when video stores were still a thing. By the way, Netflix is talking about opening like a video store. That'd be kind of cool if they brought back Blockbuster. Anyways, nonetheless, I remember seeing the cover for this and I was like, what is this movie? And then I found that it was a remake to Night of the Demons, which I eventually saw and I liked, and the sequel I liked. The third one, which I don't. And then we have this, the remake. So, people said this one wasn't good either, but I go into movies with an open mind because some of my favorite films are films people told me were bad. For example, any of you guys remember the Lone Ranger movie with Johnny Depp? Yeah, a lot of people hate that movie. That's like in my top 100 film list. I love Lone Ranger, but anyways, I'm not getting off track, man. Night of the Demons, the remake. So how do you remake not even a classic, more of like how do you remake something that's known in the slasher, horror, Halloween, I don't know, whatever, like a cult classic kind of. How do you remake a cult classic like Night of the Demons? Well, you get the kid from Terminator 2. Yeah, John Connor. He's in this film. I didn't know he was still acting. And then you got the main chick from Freddy vs. Jason. And you got some other names that I forgot. And let me just say this. I enjoyed it. I mean, after being disappointed with 3, this one is miles better. I mean, okay, it's the same plot as the original with a few minor differences, with a few alterations. First of all, it's not a random house they decide to have this small little get-together at, like in the original. In this one, it's a huge, ginormous party. Like, we're talking like a block party. Like, people are coming from everywhere just to go here. Like, people are still on drugs. People are having sex. Like they're doing all sorts of crazy things that you wouldn't see at like a usual like get-together type party, which was like what they were trying to throw in the original until they started having sex and booze and doing drugs and all this other stuff, and then the demons came out. Anyways, nonetheless, they discover in the basement when the cops clear everybody out, they have to clean up, so a few people stay behind. And they go into the basement to see what's there, and they find a bunch of skeletons and like a satanic symbol. One of the skeletons bites one of the girls, Angela. She's in this film. And I gotta say, the actress they got for Angela, she did a really good job. That's something I want to mention really quick. The acting is really good. I really do like the acting in this film. I think everyone's believable. There's some legitimately funny lines, and I'll get into that in a little bit. But they start, playing games because they find out that the gates are locked. And going back to what I was saying in the third one, how the gates were just wide open. In this one, they're stuck. And they figured they'll just get out by morning or something. Or whatever. I guess the cleanup crew will show up in the morning. So they're like, let's just wait till morning. But Angela becomes a demon, and she makes out with someone, and he gets infected, and then he has sex with someone, and she gets infected, so people are just becoming demons, and eventually we're down to like maybe 3 or 4 people, and they're trying to survive till the morning. I don't know if that was a plot thread in the original where they had to survive till morning, but the demons basically try to throw everything they can at them, and they eventually find this room that they're safe in. So they have to fend themselves off against the demons. And while this movie obviously is not better than the original. It is a solid, entertaining horror film. I gotta say, not only was I laughing quite a bit at some of the jokes, but a lot of the character decisions were surprisingly smart. Like, they say, okay, let's stay in this room. We're safe in this room. Okay. Yeah, they have to leave, like maybe 1 or 2 times, but it makes sense in the context of the film why they leave the room. But I think the main girl, there's a really cool moment I liked where the main girl, she is talking to Angela through the door, and Angela can't get through this door. Like the door's open, but she can't like cross it, she can't enter the room. And she's like, you can't enter the room, can you? And she's having like a little conversation. She's like, well, there are ways we can enter. And I was like, oh, we're gonna get an epic showdown. What's going on? And this is something this is how you know a movie's working or not, if you like your characters. Because epic rock music kicks in, and the demons start bursting away at the walls, and blood is pouring all over the writing, which is keeping them protected in the room. And they're like, shit, the writing's washing off. We gotta get these marker chalk and just like write all on the wall the symbols. And the epic rock music is kicking in. It's getting all bloody and it's getting really intense. It's shot like a Saw movie. And I was like, whoa, this is really intense. I don't want any of these characters to die. I'm really liking this. Why do people not like this movie? See, that's the thing. I watch these movies expecting like hot, steaming pile of garbage like the third movie. And then I get a film that's solidly, like a solid, entertaining film. And I don't get it. Is it great? No. Like, the movie has some editing issues, and one issue I had with the film is that towards like the middle of the film, you know who your main characters are, and while in the first movie it was pretty spread out when people would die and become infected and become a demon, in this film everyone pretty much just becomes a demon right away, and the makeup effects is better than the third one, but not like great. There's like maybe 1 or 2 designs on the demons that I was like, whoa, that's pretty cool. Specifically, Angela and one girl who has her breast sticking out. Her makeup design was creepy. I gotta hand it to the makeup department. They did a solid job on her face. She looked creepy as hell. Creepy as hell. See what I did there? But yeah, I mean, the makeup was good on some of the demons. I think there was one demon I was like, okay, that makeup does not look that good. But, it's whatever. But yeah, my main issue with the film is that you know who the main characters are, and everyone kind of just becomes possessed. And then I'm not complaining that we're following this group of characters throughout the entire film, or throughout the rest of the runtime. But it's like, okay, now it's just like, okay, now the film has to rely on these characters instead of people getting possessed individually, which was what made the first one really interesting. I was like, okay, it's a guessing game, because we don't really know who the main character is in the first movie. So it's like, okay, who's going to get infected? I mean, I'm just going to refer to him as the black character, but in the first movie, I was not expecting the black kid to survive, and I was so happy because I was like, I love this guy, and he survived. But it was more of a guessing game in the original, and this one's like, you know who the main character is, so you kind of know who's going to survive and who's going to die. And as the film progressed, I could kind of predict where it was going. So it got a little predictable. And like I said, the editing is not the greatest. The makeup effects is hit or miss sometimes. So it's mostly good. But the blood effects are really good. There's a lot of blood, and if you're a gore hound, then you'll like it. I'm not really a gore hound. I more just appreciate like the creativity in like the makeup and kills that goes into it, like the thought that's put into the stuff. It's just kind of like a thing with horror movies that you kind of get used to, and you just kind of like, okay, it just comes with the package, But yeah, there were some moments I wasn't really too big a fan of, but the movie I found really entertaining. In fact, I was entertained throughout this entire film. And I've said it before, if your film bores me, you made a bad film. If you entertain me, you made a good film. Unless you're Scarehouse, in which case I don't know how to feel about that movie. But I will say this was a solid film. Is it perfect? No. But I had a hell of a good time. See what I did there? Mm-hmm. And one last thing before I give my rating. The ending was really cool. I really liked the ending and I loved how the movie ended. Loved it. And you probably won't hear me say that often when I review movies like this. I really liked how the movie ended. I really did. I'm gonna go ahead and give this movie a B+. I would probably give it higher if it wasn't for some issues that I had with it, but I did like it. Watch it if you can. It's on Prime. I recommend it. It's not better than the original, but it's a solid film. So go check it out.